Two powerful earthquakes rock Southern California.
Oh, God, forever and ever and ever. I thought it never stops.
From ABC News, World News Sunday. Substituting for Forrest Sawyer, here's Carol Simpson.
Good evening. The first one came before dawn, 7.4 on the Richter scale. And before Southern California had time to recover, a second quake hit, measuring 6.5. More than 100 people were injured. A small child was crushed to death. Seismologists are now warning there's a better than 50% chance of yet another strong earthquake tomorrow. Brian Rooney recounts the trauma caused by twin demons that scientists have named Landers and Big Bear.
The earth rippled and shook for as long as a minute. Some California veterans said it was the worst quake they ever felt.
I have been through quite a few earthquakes, and this is the worst I've ever been through.
I reached over and I grabbed my wife, and we started praying and said everything will be okay.
In Yucca Valley, a wall of a bowling alley collapsed. Down the road, the roof of the Kmart store fell in. A trailer park was tossed, and near Big Bear Lake, a house burned out of control. Several portions of Highway 247 buckled and split. Power poles broke, and a fissure followed the road for several miles. Scores of people went to area hospitals, but most of the injuries were not serious. One 2.5-year-old boy died of head injuries. The second quake sent clouds of dust shooting out of the San Bernardino Mountains, and rock slides closed the roads. Los Angeles television stations were reporting the first quake when the second hit.
To give you any indication as to how long this will last.
No, this is
if things begin to fall, we are going to get under the desk here because we have an enormous amount of equipment over our head.
Most damage was hidden inside homes and commercial buildings. Here, the chimney fell through the roof. Some people lost everything they had.
Hey, come on. Come on.
My shop is gone. My shop right there. I do upholstery and it's gone. I have to build another one. I don't know what to say. What else?
What am I gonna do?
We can do it again.
I'll do it.
We can do it. What? It's all pitch in and out. No, they've got me hurt, but they don't have me beat. I'll rebuild.
But the amount of damage here was remarkably light for an earthquake of this magnitude. We've had some pretty good aftershocks here all afternoon long. California Governor Pete Wilson toured the area by helicopter and stopped off to speak to the press. He declared a state of emergency in San Bernardino and Riverside counties. And Carol, while he was speaking, there was another aftershock.
Brian, did you feel it? Did you feel the earthquake this morning?
I was in bed at 5 o'clock, and yes, I certainly did feel the earthquake. It went on for a very long time, more so than you were really used to out here, almost a minute, I believe. And it was scary. I was thinking that maybe the house was going to come down around me.
Brian, this was reportedly the third strongest earthquake this century. Are people just terrified about what may happen now?
I don't think they're terrified. They are used to having earthquakes in California. This is a stronger one than usual, but the world didn't come to an end, and life will go on.
Thank you very much. Brian Rooney reporting from Yucca Valley, California. 100 miles from the epicenters in Los Angeles, residents, as you heard, who are all too accustomed to earthquakes, seem to take today's rocking and rolling in stride. But as Ron Claiborne reports, for many out-of-towners, it was too much to bear.
For some visitors, the two earthquakes were too many. They weren't going to stay around for a third one.
We're going to stay a couple of more days here, but now we're not.
We had tickets for Phantom of the Opera tonight, and we gave that up.
But many L.A. residents, veterans of earthquakes and aftershocks, seem to take the double jolts in stride.
Just another earthquake. I thought it was my cat actually at the window trying to get in.
The earthquakes rattled Los Angeles, but there was little damage. A lot of merchandise was shaken from store shelves. Some buildings suffered structural cracks, and power lines snapped in several areas, leaving about 27,000 homes without electricity. Amtrak service to Santa Barbara and San Diego was suspended. Train passengers were put on buses instead. Still, for some L.A. residents, the two big quakes were no big deal.
And then the second time, I was still in bed. This time, I didn't get up. I said, the heck with it, let it shake.
Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Whenever there are alarming reports of earthquakes, everybody wants to know why and how they occur and more importantly, how predictable they are. As Jim Slade reports, scientists usually know how and why, but they don't yet know where and when.
The quakes did not occur on the legendary San Andreas Fault. They took place on fault lines to the east that are not yet known well enough to have a name, even though they've been active before. Early indications are the movement was a strike slip, in which adjoining rock plates move horizontally and vertically, relieving pressure that builds up as the plates try to shift. The head of the National Earthquake Information Center, Dr. Waverly Person, said aftershock should continue for at least 48 to 72 hours. Proof appeared on his seismographs as we spoke with him this afternoon.
Got a big aftershock coming in right now. One that's coming in now is probably in the magnitude 4.5 to 5 range. They are continuing.
By watching for movement along known fault lines, both on the ground and from space, geologists hope to learn to predict earthquakes someday, but they're not there yet. And if they ever do, there's a big argument over how to report it without causing wholesale panic. Jim Slade, ABC News, Washington.